Nehawu office bearers continuing with their talks as we see the CCMA intervening with this strike action that is on week 2. We see today the meeting with the Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition, Park Tau, for him to come through and intervene in bridging this impasse here. As we understand it, there are various scenarios that have been presented here for consideration, with the workers continuing with their demonstrations outside the SABS facilities, hopeful that by the end of today we'll see this strike action brought to an end. I'm going to bring Zolani into the conversation with us this afternoon. Zolani, we understand that you've been engaged in these meetings. The CCMA has engaged with you guys, trying to bring you guys together. We also saw you approaching the Minister, Park Tau, to intervene in this regard. Maybe bring us up to speed. Where are we as we speak right now with this demonstration and these negotiations that are happening behind us?
Okay, good afternoon, Katlego, and good afternoon to the viewers at home. Indeed, yesterday we met under Section 150, where the CCMA mediated between us and the employer. We can confirm that we could not conclude the discussions, and they are going to continue now at 1. But key amongst the discussions of yesterday is that the employer tabled a revised offer, and that offer was speaking to our demands. We can disclose at this stage that there are areas that we might seem to be converging around, and that is the imperative of making sure that all employees are inside the scale. And then secondly, the issue now will be how then do we progress once they are inside the scale? How do we progress them from the minimum maybe to the maximum? It might require us to have a discussion there, and also the issues of they have tabled a salary increase and so on, and we have also made counter scenarios which they were supposed to cost yesterday, and then from here we can be able then to explore what can we can match together from what we want versus what they have tabled. So that's the exercise we will be doing now. In terms of the discussions with the minister, they were quite positive. The minister welcomed the intervention by the CCMA and gave us a commitment that he will do everything in his power to see to it that these talks do not collapse, and that there must be some form of conclusion to this strike, because he also understands the implication the strike is having to the public, and thereafter he will then assess and monitor in terms of how he should be able to support the process further.
Just remind us quickly on that impact. What is happening right now as we see these demonstrations entering week 2 of this strike action at the SABS? What's the impact?
At least unlike last week or even before, when they were talking to the media and pretending as if that there is no impact, yesterday in their own internal communication, and even yesterday in our meetings for the first time, they did admit that indeed the strike is having an impact not only to the public, even financially to themselves, because of lost revenue as a result of that week. And the COO presented even an estimated figure of the loss, and that impact is felt in a whole lot of areas that are meant to safeguard the safety of the public. Food is not being tested, that is being sold in the market. Water, condom labs have gone to a halt. The electrical appliances and many other products that are sold in the market, including pharmaceutical products, are stuck because the samples have not been collected and even tested. There is no certification taking place in mines and also moving machinery and so on. So the impact really is quite huge.
Just before we let you go, Zolani, are you still set for the 8th of August in terms of that march to the office of the minister and also the secondary strike action? Where are we where that is concerned?
We have not withdrawn on any of our plans. Everything will go ahead in terms of the secondary strikes that our branches have called, and also that march until such time we find a solution. So the only thing that will stop that is for us to find an agreement. So at this stage, it's still all set until such time there is an agreement. If there is none, we then continue as planned.
Zolani, thank you very much for your time. We see the police just moving as well. These are the police that have been guarding this place from last week already. We see them today being joined by a police nyala that is also on standby. And I'm going to ask you to show you the workers on our side. These are the workers that are continuing with their demonstrations outside the SABS facilities. They are hoping that at least by the end of today, we'll see this strike action calls to brought to an end, as we understand that they're engaging, their fruitful engagements through the interventions of the CCMA. Most of them have been calling for the employer to come back to the party and ensure that he meets them halfway where these negotiations and the restructuring process is concerned here at the SABS. I'm Katlego, Legodi for SABC News in Pretoria.